All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Look, if you've ever felt that slight wave of panic when someone asks what you do for a living, trust me, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're unpacking the art of transformational introductions. We're going to explore exactly why smart, high-level professionals literally never use their job titles to introduce themselves, and how just tweaking your communication can instantly build your influence. Seriously, if your networking efforts have been feeling a bit flat lately, this is going to completely change how you communicate. Ah, yes, the dreaded networking question. You hear it everywhere, right? Conferences, dinner parties, those endless virtual meetings. But here's the thing. The way you're probably answering it right now is the exact reason people are tuning out almost immediately. Most professionals assume their introductions need to sound technically impressive, but they're actually falling straight into a massive communication trap. You know the drill. The moment that question drops, most of us just reflexively start reciting our resume. We rattle off our title, the company we work for, our credentials, maybe a list of services. We say things like, oh, I'm a consultant, or I'm in marketing, or I run a local business. And sure, while that's technically accurate, emotionally, it's completely forgettable. It generates zero curiosity, and frankly, gives the other person absolutely no reason to lean in and want to know more. Which brings us to this really uncomfortable truth. When you introduce yourself the exact same way everybody else does, your introduction might actually be quietly ending conversations before they even get off the ground. And listen, it's not because you lack talent or value, it's just that, well, sameness is invisible. If you sound like everyone else, the listener's brain just files you away into a neat little box and moves right along. So, let's move on to section 1, the hidden psychology and why exactly these titles fail. See, there is this massive disconnect happening in our daily conversations. On one hand, we're handing out these dry, informational labels, job titles, and generic company descriptions. But on the other hand, what do people actually care about? They care about their own problems, their opportunities, improving their status, finding protection, or getting some sort of emotional gain. We're out here feeding them labels when their brains are desperately, instinctively searching for outcomes. Because secretly, whenever you're speaking, the listener's brain is silently screaming this exact question, why should I care? And if your introduction doesn't answer that question, and answer it fast, their attention is just gone. Poof. Features and job titles simply do not answer that question for them. The real secret that highly successful professionals understand is that value is what creates curiosity, and curiosity, that's what actually opens doors. Powerful communicators don't sit there and position themselves around what they do. Actually, scratch that. It's more profound than that. They position themselves around what they change. That subtle shift between sounding informational and sounding transformational, it is an absolute game changer in business. All right, section 2, the transformational shift. Let's look at a new formula for introductions. So how do we actually fix this and become magnetic? Instead of just tossing out a job title, you want to immediately adopt this 3-step formula to communicate your true value. Next time someone asks what you do, start by stating the problem you solve. Then, highlight the tangible result you create. And finally, paint the future you help people reach. It's brilliant because it instantly frames you as a high-level problem solver, not just another employee wearing a name tag. Moving right along to section 3, the contrast in action. Let's compare ordinary versus magnetic. Okay, picture this. You're meeting a potential investor. Tunde on the left here goes with an emotionally flat role. I'm a business development consultant specializing in growth solutions. I mean, it's professional, sure, but it's just data. Now look at the right side. Most businesses lose profitable opportunities because their communication sounds generic. I help companies position themselves to attract higher value clients. Boom. Instantly, the whole vibe changes. Interest skyrockets because one person gave a job description while the other delivered pure, undeniable value. Let's do another rapid-fire comparison. An ordinary intro like, I'm a leadership coach, is totally fine, but it effectively kills the conversation. There's nowhere to go with it. But a transformational one? I help professionals stop sounding invisible in rooms where promotions and opportunities are decided. Wow, you immediately know exactly why you need to be talking to this person, right? And one more just for good measure. Saying, I own a branding agency versus I help businesses look valuable enough to charge more confidently. Notice how that second one makes you literally feel the value before they've even mentioned a portfolio, a process, or a single credential. People will emotionally respond to value much, much faster than they'll ever respond to a list of credentials. Which takes us to section 4, mastering executive presence and shaping professional perception. Here is a deeper rule that the most powerful professionals all understand. People decide how valuable you are way before they fully grasp what it is you actually do. Let that sink in. That is exactly why your strategic positioning is so absolutely crucial. Your words are actively shaping four massive factors: your perception, your authority, the curiosity you generate, and ultimately the real-world opportunities that come your way. This leads us to a really fascinating redefinition of executive presence. A lot of people think executive presence is about being the loudest voice in the room or having this intimidating swagger, but it's really not. High-level professionals know that executive presence is strictly about strategic communication. It's that rare ability to make people feel the weight of your value before you ever have to explain the step-by-step mechanics of how you do it. Now, all of these core principles we've been unpacking today, they're anchored in this brilliant book, Mastering Professional Etiquette. And what's so great about this source material is that it makes the case that professional etiquette is way deeper than just basic politeness. True etiquette is understanding how your communication silently but constantly dictates your influence, your trust, and your credibility. It's all about positioning yourself to naturally command respect. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought to chew on. The next time you walk into a networking event or log onto a Zoom call or sit down at a conference roundtable, ask yourself this: if your introductions are not actively opening doors for you, are they quietly closing them? Are your words making you memorable, or are they making you invisible? The choice is entirely up to you and how you frame your value. Stop sharing your job title, start focusing on the transformation you provide, and just watch how quickly the room leans in.